Now, Presidency has released the 18-month update on the implementation of the Energy Action Plan. The primary interventions of the plan encompasses, among others, rectifying Eskom and enhancing accessibility of the current power supply and facilitating and expediting private investments in generation capacity. To help us unpack what has been done in the last 18 months, joined by Professor Sampson Mamphweli. Prof, good to have you. Thank you very much for coming on. I see a lot of people having back and forth conversations about this. Others are saying, isn't it too early to give us a progress report when we see no progress? I mean, as we speak, we are still under blackouts, at least in most parts of the country, and we can't really even speak at this point of improved generation.
Good evening to you, Tavo, and the viewers. I've gone through the report in detail, and for me, this is the best report that the Minister of Electricity has ever generated since he came into office. And I'm saying this because if you look at the history of his interactions with the media from the time he came into office, to date, at the beginning, he was not even clear what his role was. And some of us kept saying, Energy Action Plan, please concentrate on that and inform the public on what is being done so far and what we can expect to be done going forward. And when he started doing that, he was doing it to a certain extent, but focusing mainly on the first pillar of the Energy Action Plan, which is the fixing of Eskom and the improvement of the availability of the existing power supply. He was not going into the details of the other four pillars of the Energy Action Plan. But what he's done so in this particular report was to basically give a detailed account of what has been done so far in the other pillars of the Energy Action. And that in its totality shows that there is progress in the implementation of the Energy Action Plan. However, he also acknowledges in the report that the Eskom old coal fleet is still giving problems. I was at Eskom at one of the power stations, I'm not going to mention the names, just this week. And I know what it means when they talk about some of the old fleet not performing well and giving a lot of problems, because when they fix parts of this old fleet, other parts break down. So that has been the biggest problem. And the magic bullet so far in terms of the short-term measures in the Energy Action Plan is to fix the existing fleet and ensure that it operates at a particular energy availability factor of above 70%. But if you look at the report in general, over and above giving the detailed account of what has been done, it also goes into the details of what megawatts are we expecting at what particular time. So we can easily hold the minister account and government account looking at those megawatts that they have put out there to say, in 2024 you said there will be about 3,863 megawatts that will return to service or that will be added to the grid from various sources. And by the end of 2024, if that has not happened, then we can be able to hold them account. It goes into the details of, for instance, the fixing of the generation fleet, Medupi, Kusile, what is going to happen, when are we expecting some of the units to come back to service, and what impact that will have on the generation fleet. Yeah. So there's quite a lot of detail in this particular report, and it also towards the end indicates what else still needs to be done, which is outstanding in the Energy Action Plan, in the President's Energy Action Plan going forward. So for me, this is the best kind of an account of what has been happening so far.
So on the goal of repairing Eskom, enhancing the current energy supply, the biggest achievement I see here that would be noted is the early restoration of 3 units at the Kusile power station. What did that give us?
So that means that we will have about, I think it's 2,500, 2,600 megawatts of base load capacity coming back to the line, which basically means that we can avoid close to 3 stages of load shedding. And as things stand, you recall that we're hovering between stage 2 and stage 3 load shedding at most. So that on its own is going to be a major milestone if that actually happens, that those units come back to life at that particular point in time before the end of the year, as opposed to towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and in terms of fostering private investment in energy generation, we've been hearing certainly a couple of deals from the private sector, mining companies, I think even some banking companies as well are beginning to invest in some kind of renewable capacity of their own.
Yes, that is correct. So the report goes into the details of what happened when government basically dealt with the regulatory environment to allow the private sector to procure or to build projects without the necessity for a generation license. They've recorded that we're expecting about 12,000 megawatts that will come from that particular program. Some of the projects have already started being built, and some of them will be contributing to the megawatts capacity that will be coming live towards the end of 2024 and the beginning and towards the middle 2025. So there is quite a lot that is happening in that space because of government allowing private individuals to produce electricity without generation license. The other part is on small scale embedded generation, where the report recorded that through the government interventions encouraging small-scale embedded generation, rooftop solar PV at households and businesses. We've seen about 5,000 megawatts coming online, and that they've also acknowledged in the report that is helping the country quite a lot during the day. And we can see, from the stages of or the intensity of load shedding. In the past, it was going up to about stage 6 load shedding. Now it's hovering between stage 2 and stage 3 load shedding because of some of this capacity that is coming on during the day. When you go and visit the Eskom system operator, you can actually see the graph of this generation capacity coming during the day, picking up during the day and then going down as the sun goes down, and that's where you can be able to account for the 5,000 megawatts that the report talks to, and which basically tells some of us that the report is actually factual in its contents.
So doubling in the installation of rooftop solar by households and businesses, how does that then hit on the bottom line of Eskom?
So that actually hits the bottom line of Eskom, especially on the side of the businesses, because the businesses are the ones that pays for the electricity that they use. We've seen most of them going, the small scale embedded generation route. However, because they can only do so much because of the roof space, it does not necessarily, dent the Eskom balance sheet to a greater extent. What will have a much bigger impact on the Eskom balance sheet is when we start to see big businesses such as your mines, starting to get from that 12,000 megawatts that will be coming, that has been registered with the national with the regulatory body. But that's where the unbundling process comes handy for Eskom, because instead of losing revenue totally, they still get some revenue from the wheeling agreements that are being signed with Eskom at the moment, where the various companies will use the Eskom grid to wheel or to send the electricity that they will be producing to their various customers. So that for me is the new kind of business for Eskom, And the report also talks about the establishment of the transmission company of South Africa, which will be dealing with the purchasing of electricity also from the private sector, and also the wheeling of the electricity. There's a wheeling framework, which is another new thing that has come into the report that has not been reported in the past. That the wheeling framework is now sitting with the regulator since March 2023, and that wheeling framework kind of opens up the grid for the private sector to wheel or to send the electricity to their various customers using the Eskom grid. And that creates another market, and it also creates it levels kind of the ground in terms of people trying to access the grid. Right. So that is a very good thing for the country going forward. But like I said, Eskom will also gain in terms of some revenue from the wheeling kind of a situation, and they will also be able to purchase electricity through the transmission company from the various generators who will be producing electricity.
Prof, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. Energy expert there, Sampson Mamphweli.